Good evening, welcome to Sports Unplugged. I'm your host, Chris Brack, and I'm joined by the usual suspects of Kev and Luke. Making a debut, we've got Courtney Neary, and we've got Callum as well. Hi, Callum.
Thanks for a nice intro.
So far. Anyway, more important. Courtney, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
All right, thanks. You?
Not bad, not bad. Luke, how's the Leeds game going? Are they all fighting, or is it,
I've turned it off now.
Oh, come on, mate. You're the fight correspondent. That's what you're there for. Mr. O'Sullivan, how are we doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. Huge weekend coming up, man.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff going on. Some of us need some time management this weekend, but
no chance of that.
We're just going to have to get through what we can get through.
Let's be honest, we can't do time management on this show, so
not
a chance for anything else, is there? How's the hangover?
No, mine's good. No, my missus was working yesterday, so I didn't really go out yesterday. So,
that's disappointing.
Yeah, it was one of those, when St. Patrick's Day falls midweek, it kind of sucks. But we got two bank holidays this year, so we got today, yesterday, into the long weekend. So it's a nice few days off work, nice break.
Awesome.
And it is what it is, but no hangover. Only a few cans last night.
There we go. Callum, you're getting a lot of love for doing back-to-back shows. He only sits there talking. Come on. Even a bit like me can do that. So what we're going to do is let's get into the FA Cup preview because that's the most important thing this weekend for us. So we'll come to the Liverpool game last. Let's start with some of the other games. So Courtney, first game is Middlesbrough against Chelsea. So Chelsea wants the game behind closed doors for sporting integrity. Try saying that without laughing. And then Middlesbrough's answer was Chelsea and sporting integrity is a laugh. And to show how nice Middlesbrough are, they're giving the whole purse from the FA Cup to Ukrainian refugee fund, I think it is. So, fair play to Middlesbrough because, it sort of sets an example a little bit. But how do you see this Middlesbrough at Chelsea?
I have a bit of a weird tie to Middlesbrough because I lived up in the northeast for a while. So I'm like, part of me's like, even though they're not my team up there, I really want them to knock Chelsea out. But I can't see it. The Chelsea side's just too good compared to them, especially being on form lately. They had a bit of a scare against Lille at the week, but I think Chelsea have got this, unfortunately.
Yeah, Kev, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Chelsea cope after the Lille game because it's a quick turnaround. The squad isn't as deep as people think at the minute with the amount of injuries that are mounting up. It should be a comfortable night, but as we'll get onto when we talked about us and Forest, sides underestimate the championship and clubs that play in the championship and players who are in there at their peril. You can get very easily embarrassed by clubs in that league. And Middlesbrough are one of those clubs that they can do what they do effectively if you allow them time on the ball. So I think Chelsea will get a job done. I think they'll probably go through, but I don't expect Chelsea to have it all their own way, especially with the fact they've got absolutely zero fans there, and Middlesbrough will do their best to create a hostile environment. So hope for the best, but I think Chelsea go through.
Yeah, Cal, I mean, I've got to be honest. You won't find this hard to believe. I don't like Middlesbrough. They're one of those bogey sides that have still scarred me from the 1990s, and I can't actually get past the fact. Yeah, because all I could remember in the 90s was they kept beating us. They were crap. They were always crap. But they were like
not
Wigan.
All the time, Kev. They didn't beat us loads in the 90s.
I'm not Kev and Chris, but go on. Wow, that's a WhatsApp conversation later.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was looking at Kev at the time when I was saying.
I don't blame you looking at Kev.
You've added about 10 years to Chris. That's all right.
No, but if I'm not mistaken, I remember them beating us in this is going way back, like the Coca-Cola Cup one year. Was it like 96 or something
when
like that?
When they realised David James couldn't kick a ball. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And they kept passing the ball back to him. It was amazing.
I don't feel like I mean...
Borough away, that's the one for me. Not Borough at home, Borough away. I hated it.
It
just became one of those sides that, But the thing with the Championship is, I always find is, it's not the quality, it's consistency. That's the main reason you're in the Championship, is you're probably just not quite as consistent as a player. Quality-wise, because you see the players that come up every year, there's always quality that comes up. It's just whether they can be consistent enough.
Yeah, for me, I'd love Chelsea get knocked out. Nothing would fill me with more happiness, but I can't see it. I just don't see. I know Middlesbrough, look, they knocked out United, but United are a different animal to Chelsea. Chelsea are really up for it. Their league form was like 5 wins in the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. They seem like they've turned a corner from when they had their blip. So I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. I think they'll win pretty comfortably as well.
Fair enough. Lukey, full house, are you seeing Chelsea win?
Yeah, I think so. I think this type of time for Chelsea, I think this has made them stronger. They're back against the walls, us against the world. It's the way Chelsea like it. It's the way their fans like it. So, yeah, I really do hope for an upset, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
No. So, speaking of not seeing an upset, Southampton against City. Now, when this draw was made, I thought, well, this would be a good test for City, because they haven't beat Southampton all season. 2 draws. I mean, just put into context, between 7th and 12th is where City have dropped all their points. You know, Southampton, Palace, Tottenham. You know, so it's not unheard. It's not unrealistic. But Southampton, since they beat West Ham in the FA Cup, they've gone back, Kev, to what they used to be, which is just throwing silly results in all the time, which is really irritating at the wrong time.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of them recently. You see the results coming through, and you're like, oh, they've done it again. Oh, they've done it again. But when I was watching them, there was a couple of players that I really like the look of. Salassu's one at centre back. I think he just has this knack of getting in the right place at the right time and just making himself big and awkward. But they seem to have a knack of playing City and doing the right things. And when we get talking about the Champions League, it's very similar to how Atleti play and how Atleti defend. Southampton defend in numbers and they break at pace. And it's the one thing that Man City absolutely hate, is their centre-backs being one-on-one with players or being turned. And again, it's one of those ones, on paper, you expect City to have a comfortable away trip to the South Coast, but it rarely turns out that way. You know, Southampton normally give them a game and give them a bit of a scare. Whether it's enough to go through, who knows? But Pep has a lot of games to play in the same way as we do, so I expect to see rotation. I expect to see changes made, and by the way they played against Palace, that Iron Man type football, no substitutions, 11 men start the game and 11 finish it, that shit won't last for long. You can't keep doing that. Not at this stage of the season. That's where players get injured, and Pep's got to wise up. He's got to have to make changes tomorrow night, and the players that come in are going to have to stake a claim and see what happens. But I expect City to go through. But it's one of those. Anything could happen in this game.
Cool. Courtney, how are you seeing this game going?
100% seeing City going through, but I do think Southampton can cause them a lot of problems. Of the past few seasons, I just think City playing them, you can see Southampton easily scoring. Maybe not many, but maybe they're not keeping a clean sheet. But I still think City will win it, and I sort of hope City will win it because it'll mean they're more likely to drop points in the league, which is more what we're after at the minute. So hopefully that works and we lose the next few games in the league. But yeah, City to win for me.
Okay. Callum, do you give us any hope? Is Brojan going to score a hat-trick, knock them out? They're going to get really upset, throw it in against Burnley, then mess up against Atleti, then we'll finish them off, and then we're all sorted? Or is that just wishful thinking?
It's wishful, Chris.
Oh, mate.
I'm with Courtney on this one. I wouldn't mind seeing them go to the semi-finals, the FA Cup and the Champions League, and then bottling everything. I think the longer they drag out their season and the worse it ends is even better. I know that sounds, it's meant to sound harsh. I only want Liverpool to do well. I don't want City to do well. But I think if you can keep them as distracted for as long as possible, I think it gives us a better chance in the different games and different competitions. So, one, I don't think they'll go out. I do think they'll have a point to prove against Southampton, but 2, I think it'll be good for us. And as you've pointed out to me a few times, Chris, the injuries in their squad being as deep as a lot of people think might not be as deep and as strong as people think. So let's really test it.
Yeah, because consistently they're having 3 to 4 kids, on the bench. Now but they never get to the point where they have to use them. But at some point, we've seen that where we've had 3 or 4 kids on the bench, and everyone goes ballistic and says, "Why have we got all these kids on the bench with injuries?" And you go, "But other clubs, it's kind of glossed over. We don't talk about that." Yeah. So, Luke, do you give Southampton any hope? You're the positive one.
Well, I did predict City dropping points against Burnley. No, not against Burnley, against Palace. So
you did.
I think it's going to be. It's not going to be a walkover. I do think City are just going to huff and puff, and it wouldn't surprise me if they beat Southampton in extra time. To be honest.
Okay, so what score are you going?
1-0 City after extra time.
Cal?
3-1 City.
Courtney?
2-1 City.
Kev?
Yeah, 2-1 City.
I'll go 1-1 City on pens. And I forgot to ask you, Chelsea, I've got Chelsea winning 2-1. What have you guys got? 2-0. Courtney?
2-0.
2-0.
Luke?
3-0.
Cal?
3-0.
3-0. Right. Let's talk about our Merseyside mates. Big win for them. It was a big win, let's be honest. Down to 10 men, they still got it done. Frank Lampard was so happy he broke his own hand, shaking his hand, which is quite impressive. We had Harry Potter protesting over something, and then when he finally got cut down, a blue decided to jump over the fence to give him a kick to make sure he went. I think he also, to be honest, I think he just wanted to get himself kicked out of the ground. I think he'd had enough. So, but they've got to go away to Palace, Cal. We've seen away to Palace, and City have found out is no barrel of laughs. They're organised. They've got quality in like Gallagher and the forwards that they've got. At Everton, I'll be honest, I just don't think they need this game. I think they're more concerned about trying to beat a Watford or beat a Burnley. Yeah,
I think Lampard's going to see this as a free hit. I think especially with the international break, he knows that his team will get a bit of a rest. I think if a Prem game was coming in the next sort of 4 to 5 days, I think we'd see a weakened Everton team. But I think he'll try and go for this and sort of see it as if we go through, bonus. If we don't, then it's not the end of the world. I don't think they're the favourites going into this game. I expect Palace to actually really deal with them. I don't see how they hurt Palace. I don't see where they'd give Palace any room or any reason to have any fear. I've got Palace winning this 3-1, and I think they'll dominate the game from start to finish.
Fair enough. I think you're being generous with the 1 myself. Luke, how are you seeing this game?
I do think that Palace will win this game. I just don't think Everton were very good against Newcastle. I thought Newcastle were quite bad. That made Everton look even half decent. I think Lampard's not going to be thinking about getting to the semi-final. I think he's more focused about trying to stay in the league. And Palace have got the better team, better players, better manager. So I'm probably going to go 2-0 Palace. No shocks here.
Courtney, how are you seeing this game?
I think Palace have got it. I don't think there's any way Everton are going through in the next round. Off watching them lately, obviously I think every Liverpool fan's tuning in every Everton game just to see if they are going to go down. But I can't see with the way they're playing at the minute how they're going to take points from Palace and go through. It's just, no.
Cool. What score are you going for?
2-0 to Palace. I can't see Everton scoring at all.
Cool. Kev, how are you seeing this then? So Alan's red card has been upheld, so he's got a 3-game ban. I think last time I checked, I think Richarlison's still rolling somewhere with his 4 goals all season, which was great.
He's rolling back to the Brazil squad.
And I'll be honest, I think we need to put Calvert-Lewin in his card, so he actually moved. To be honest, that's the only time I've seen him move quick all season was his speed and fan this year. So how are you seeing them going?
As long as Palace don't have any hangovers from the other night, they'll be fine. They'll go through. They worked damn hard against City, and City made them work. On another night, I said it in midweek fix, City really threw that game away. They were really poor in front of the goal. Mahrez missed some really good chances, and City made Palace work. City weren't they were good on the night. It's just their finishing let them down. So as long as Palace have come out of that game and recovered well, the likes of Olise and the younger players, really, as long as they've come out of it okay, I'm looking forward to watching them again. Michael Olise looks one of these players that, in the same way as Diaz does, you sit up when he gets the ball because you just want to see what he's going to do. And Zaha still has that kind of what's he going to do stuff as well. They're an exciting side to watch, but they are inconsistent. There's a reason why they are where they are in the league. If they could string results together, they would be in a better position. They're not. So I wouldn't rule Everton out of going through. It would be a massive shock if they did, just on form. But look, you expect Palace to go through as long as the players can take the positives out of the City performance and finish the chances that they will get, and they will get chances. No doubt about it. I think 3 or 4-0. I think
3 or 4-0. So
I think if they get an early goal, I think Palace could run riot. But at the same time, it's one of those they need to start to be able to kick on. I think the longer this game, if this game stays 0-0 for into the 60th, 65th, 70th minute, you give Everton a chance of nicking it again, because it's just one of those, and it's just one of those games. Neither side are really good. They're just there because someone has to make up the numbers.
So what you're saying is you're not going to Sky Plus this time?
I'd watch it because I want to see what Palace turn up, because I enjoy watching it. They're one of the few sides of the league that I like watching them. Newcastle under Howe since the new year. I like watching them. They're entertaining. And that's all you. If you're a neutral watching the game, that's all you want. Like tonight's game. Tonight's game was a nuts game. If you're watching games with Leeds and or with Wolves in, generally you'll be entertained because of the players they have on the pitch. Same with Crystal Palace. They've got that youth and exuberance, and the fact that Vieira has turned that around in 12 months and almost wiped out what Hodgson has coached them in 3 years is a massive testament to Patrick Vieira.
It is. It's almost like maybe someone like a Patrick Vieira maybe should be getting bigger jobs than
he should be talked about. He should be talked about in terms of when bigger jobs come up. And maybe he needed this because he's failed at a couple of clubs before he came to England and went to Palace. It's almost as if he needed the failures to iron out his methods.
But he studied failures respectively
from New York, and I think he did an average job at Nice.
But that's cutting his teeth at a low level. It's not being gift wrap the Chelsea job because you were a good player.
Or Arteta at Arsenal just because he was Pep's assistant.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Arteta, and I've given loads of bashing. I think he's actually doing something that Lampard hasn't done at Chelsea. He's actually had the balls to make a big decision. Selling your best striker, which isn't popular because his attitude stinks.
Yeah, but again, he's now moaning about fixture schedules and wait till you're in Europe, my friend, and
Arsenal's
you'll be moaning every single week then.
Yeah, well, Arsenal's like Everton. Once it gets under your skin, you can't quite get it out of it. It always comes out eventually.
Yeah. As Kendall calls Everton the Scouse Mackhams.
I saw that in the comments. It went down really well. That did. It hasn't quite. I think some of our Blue fans heard that one as well. That they didn't take it very kindly. I thought it was quite good. So, Court, let's talk about the big game. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. This is a throwback one to the 80s for people who are old enough. I'm not quite that old. Kev, we'll come to you in a minute. But how are you seeing this? How are you seeing this game going? I'm looking forward to this. Sorry, Courtney, I was talking to you.
I'm looking forward to this one so bad. I've got a mate who's a Forest fan, and all season we've sort of been talking about them in the FA Cup because I was watching. The only Forest game I've watched this season was the Leicester one, and I was like, I can't see this going well for you, and then they absolutely thrashed them, which is sort of scary to think about. Because Leicester aren't brilliant this season, but they're still a really good Premier League side on the day. But that day I was just like, oh my God, and it's scary to think about going in. So I think they might give us a difficult game, but in the end of it, I think if we put a strong enough team out, we've 100% got it in the bag. It just depends on what players we put out.
Cool. Luke, are you confident with the Forest game?
I think so, because I think Forest have got their 2 of the main centre backs out for 4 to 6 weeks, so they'll be missing this game. I think Steve Cook's one of them, and I think they're missing the captain, Joe Worrell. So that's going to be a massive plus for Liverpool. And I do expect Liverpool to play a fairly strong team. Klopp has confirmed that Alisson's now the FA Cup goalkeeper, so he'll be playing tomorrow.
Oh, don't
sort of shows
he gets upset.
That he means business now. Like, he sees this as an opportunity. So yeah, I do expect a fairly strong team tomorrow, stronger than what people expect.
Okay, so Kev, Forest, the old enemy. You look forward to seeing them back?
I'm like Courtney. I got friends that I went to school with that grew up when we were growing up together. They were Forest fans, and to this day, he still travels over to Nottingham 2 or 3 times a year to watch them. He was watching them way before the likes of Stuart Pearson, Des Walker, and all of them boys were there. They're a big club, but they're a regional club. They're big in their spot. But to be fair to them, this season, if you look at the form table, they're the best side at home in the Championship in the last 10 games. You know, they're pushing into the playoffs now. He's got them playing this back 3 that's very offensive, and he'll gamble and they'll attack with numbers and with pace. But they're tight and compact in defence, everything that we tend to hate when we're playing back 5s. Have to have enough. We have to have enough, irrespective of what 11 we put out. They're good at what they do, but we have more than enough to beat them. It will be probably one of those tight games for half an hour, but I think as soon as we get 1, we could get 2 or 3 or 4 and keep going. It all depends on the mindset of the players, how ruthless they want to be. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be opportunities given to players who ordinarily wouldn't be in the Premier League squad, I think. And it's up to them to put a marker down.
Cool.
I expect a good win.
So, Cal, FA Cup, away at Championship side, no VAR. Do you tweak how high you stand on the line? Because you're now relying on somebody's eyes, not on a computer to tell you when you're offside, which we are very good at getting these high lines right, because we know the VAR 99 times out of 100 will get it right for us. As we've seen with linesmen lately, they can't see someone in front of them getting kicked, so they're not going to see. They're going to struggle to see down a line. Do we possibly? I'm not saying drop back to the halfway, drop back deep like Burnley style, but do we maybe look to tweak it slightly?
Yes, I would. I don't think Klopp will. I don't think that's Klopp's style. I know I'm going to sound a bit like conspiracy theorist. That wasn't me, by the way.
I think that was Luke's dog, or he's a really good ventriloquist. It's one or the other.
So I don't want to go conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't be surprised if we played a high line and there's a couple of offside situations and they just get let off, because it just seems as though refs are more about entertainment and getting the decisions right nowadays. I don't think Klopp will, though. I think it will be a tough game for the first half, maybe. I think our quality will kick in. I think Mark A in the comments said not to go full rotation. I agree, because we've got a break after this game. I agree with Mark on that. Usually would go full rotation. Obviously, you've mentioned about Kelleher and Alisson. You know my thoughts on that. I think Kelleher should get the FA Cup game.
So you've never mentioned this. You get very upset over this.
Yeah, I think Kelleher.
Why have you got to keep the number 2 happy but not keep your main keeper happy?
Because I think Alisson will be kept happy, because if and when we get to the final, he'll play the final potentially, and he'll definitely play Premier League and Champions League. I think FA Cup for me. I think, especially against Forest, no disrespect to Forest. If this is against Chelsea or Man City, then for me, I understand. But in the Forest game, I think Kelleher has done enough to show that he can be trusted in these games.
But it's not about a matter of trust, is it? Is it more about the fact he wants to give his number 1 goalkeeper the opportunity of winning a domestic cup, which he hasn't won yet? If Kelleher plays all the rounds up to semi-final, you're back in the chat of, so you're dropping him for the final, but he's got you all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, you could use that for any part, though, because now he's dropped him for the quarterfinals, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
It's a tricky one, but at the same time, it's a problem I'm glad we have, because a year and a half ago, we're sitting here and we're praying that Adrian doesn't start any games. Now I'm sitting here having a debate that should it be Kelleher, should it be Allison. I'm all about squad. I'm all about having these headaches. It's brilliant for me.
I know. Listen, I'm still scarred by Carius and.
Don't mention it.
Who shall not be named.
And no. The worst one for me is still Brad Jones. The only man I've seen
Chris,
dive
why are
out
we
the way
online, man.
Dive out the way of a ball. I've never seen it since. He literally dived out the way of a shot. He was that scared of it. Right. Pick an 11, Cal, and then Courtney will explain how you're wrong.
All right, so
because I think it's a good debate, this, because there's nice options.
Ali in goal, Tsimikas, Virgil, Canate, Gomez.
Gomez at right back, eh?
Yeah.
I think Milner's still ill. So
I think he is still ill, I think, yeah.
Ooh, Fabinho, Hendo, Keita.
Okay.
Diaz, Bobby, and Taki.
And Taki, you said, sorry. Taki.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Courtney, are you agreeing with that, or have you got a slightly different view on who you think it starts?
I've got a slightly different team.
Oh,
I've got Allison in there just because Klopp said it.
Yeah.
If it was down to me, I would have put Kelleher in.
Thank you, Courtney.
But yeah, I've got to go with Allison just because he said it.
Cool. Who's your back line?
Tsimikas, Van Dijk, Canate, and I've gone for Milner because of what Klopp was saying in his press conference. I think he might be well enough. It's sort of just hopefully he is, because for me, I would go for Milner in that position over Gomez at the minute. Cool. Then Fabs, Ox, and Naby. And then Mane, Jota, and Minamino. I think Diaz needs a bit of a break, otherwise I would have put Diaz in. But
yeah, I hear that, because he has played a lot recently. Kev, which one of those do you agree with, or have you got your own dynamic?
I want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Joe Gomez playing. But I want to see him playing at centre back. I don't mind James Milner playing at right back. I wouldn't be surprised if Virgil sits this one out. He doesn't play until next Saturday with the Netherlands. They've got 2 games next Saturday and the following Wednesday. But the following Wednesday is a game against Germany, so he's definitely going to be playing in that. Midfield, I wouldn't be a bit. Well, I suppose Fabinho. I'd be surprised if Curtis Jones doesn't get a game. And Naby on the right or left, either or. You can decide which one plays right or left between Naby and Curtis. Taki on the right, Jota on the left, Bobby through the middle. Okay. I think Sadio and Mo Salah have huge games coming up. Against each other, and it's not a case of whether they're definitely not going to be rested, and the intensity that they're going to be playing at, because one of them is not going to the World Cup. You know what I mean? Whatever about AFCON, one of them not going to the World Cup is huge.
I've got a feeling Salah's not even in the squad, because Klopp did drop in the conversation that he was feeling his foot again. Yeah, so I do think.
Isn't it great that we've got 3 different teams picked so far, with 2 to come, and they're 3 different sides, and they're 3 good sides?
Yeah, you're not panicking over, like, is it Jimmy Traore? Can I throw Biscan in for this game? Yeah. Do you reckon Hossamy can do a job for us?
No, he never could.
God, he never could, to be fair to him. But you just remember those chats. Nagy puts in no Harvey Ellis, not in any of the squad. I mean, to be fair, Klopp's made it clear recently that I think he sort of hinted that maybe they just need to pull him out a little bit, but mainly because he's coming back from a big injury, so it's just to manage his minutes. Before we come to Luke, because Luke's going to have Reece Williams and all sorts going into this
I
side.
knew it. I knew it. I knew I'd never let that down. I'd never let that down.
Luke, it was the most wild 11 I've ever heard. Half the lads I'd never heard of you put in. You were just making people up at one point. So mine's similar to Kev. I think Gomez plays it, but I think he plays it right back with Matip and Canate. I do think Virgil gets a rest. I agree with Simicast. I think he does Hendo, Keita, Jones, because I think Fab needs a rest. But I agree with Taki, Bobby, Jota as a front three, because I think Bobby and Jota need the minutes. And to be fair to Taki, he just scores in cup games. It's just what he does. That's his thing. So
Nick's my team, Chris. That's literally the team I was going to say. So
there you go. I'd almost believe you, but
No Reece Williams.
No Reece Williams. I generally can't believe you've not put Reece Williams.
He's a good water boy. So.
But he got us in the Champions League. So was put. Lord of
Remember, we've got the 5 sub option, so you know what I mean.
Luke should call Nat Phillips just to make sure. If you're asking, is Divock injured? I don't think Divock's injured. I just don't think he's getting picked, which is, the way it is. He's 6th, 7th choice. Listen, it wouldn't surprise me if Divock started, but at the moment, he's just too far down the pecking order.
One thing I'll say is when he came in, the last game he came in, he never let anyone down, and he looked like he just ran with it, and he was good. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you're going to get with him from now until the end of the season, and then we'll see what happens with him. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a case of parting of the ways, but he's just one of these guys that you wish absolutely nothing but the best for going forward. It's just sad that it's going to come to an end this way. I wish we'd have been able to get the right fee for him last summer, and that's being honest about it, because
I think so.
Going into a World Cup year, he deserves to be playing, and he deserves to be playing at a really good level. When you look at the likes of, say, a West Ham, you need a number 9, and you need a proper alternative to what they have. He's more than capable of playing in sides of that level, pushing to get into Europe, pushing to get into the top 4, whatever way you want to look at it. He's more than good enough for that.
Okay. Let's get score predictions, then I'll give you my wild theory where I think Divock ends up. So what are you thinking, Kev?
I think we win 4-0.
4-0. Lovely. Courtney?
3-1.
3-1. Cal?
2-1.
2-1. Oh, my God.
2-1 Liverpool, by the way. Liverpool.
Yeah, well, 2 hours, anything's possible, mate. Luke?
I'll be different, and I'll go 3-0.
3-0. I'll be boring. I'll say 2-0 Liverpool. So, my Divock theory is, do you remember the guy who's backup striker for Bayern and PSG? Is it
Choupo-Moting?
It would not surprise me. He's going to go to Bayern and be the backup at Bayern. Because me and Kev have said it a couple times. We all assume he can play a full season. When's the last time he played the full season starting every week? He might not be built for it. And that's not a bad thing. Solskjaer wasn't built for it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes on a free to someone like a PSG or a Bayern and is their backup and just comes on in Champions League games, Bundesliga games, has a nice life, scores goals when he comes on, and just generally being Divock and content. Which, to be honest, fair play to him if he does. It's a cracking career to have out of it. If he goes from Liverpool winning trophies and goes to Bayern and carries on doing it, fair play to him.
So as long as he leaves with one more moment left in him, then wish him all the best.
Hopefully. So in the comments, Emmett's got 4-1 Liverpool. Reclaimer's got a hard-fought 7-0. Fair enough. Mark A's got Callum's 2-1. He's got Jota and Minamino. I do fancy Minamino for a goal.
So do I.
And Naguib says there's rumours that he's close to joining AC Milan. Again, that'd be a good move for him. I think the Italian league would actually suit his style, to be honest. So cool. Right, Premier League. We'll quickly fly through this, and then we'll start talking about Betmate and people punching each other in USA. So, quick fire score: Cal, Villa versus Arsenal.
2-1 Villa.
Luke?
2-2.
Courtney?
Arsenal need to go back to do some more learning, I think, after this game. Back to the learning centre. Yeah, Cal knows what I mean.
I'd go for 1-0 to Villa.
1-0 to Villa. Kev?
2-0 Villa.
I'm going to go 2-2. Leicester versus Brentford. I'm going to put 2-0 to Leicester. Kev?
I think Brentford get a 1-0 away win.
Lovely. Courtney?
1-1.
Cal?
1-1.
Luke?
Fofana back for Leicester, but they're still shoddy, so I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford.
Lovely. And Spurs versus West Ham. Fair play to West Ham. Knocking Seville out of Europa League is...
Yeah, they get Leon now.
Get Leon, but listen, if you're knocking out Seville, you shouldn't fear anyone in that competition.
Got Barca potentially in the semis as well.
Yeah, but this is Barcelona with Adama Traore as their main outlet. I mean, come on, this is not Ronaldinho.
Might need to be scouting Gavi though. Might need to be scouting him just.
Well,
in case.
possibly. What are you going to go for this one, mate? Luke, sorry.
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Callum?
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Courtney?
2-1 West Ham.
Lovely. Kev?
2-0 Spurs.
I'm going to go 1-1. There we go. Right, and that's it for the Premier League. All 3 games. Good luck for your match for day, because that's brilliant.
That's going to be a boring watch.
Yeah.
I think there's only one game on Saturday.
Yeah,
the other teams aren't playing.
Yeah, the other 2 are on Sunday.
Yeah, so there's 3 FA Cup games on Sunday as well. So
yeah,
very heavy. It's a very heavy Sunday.
Sunday's going to be great for me.
It is, not if you're Arsenal fan. But we won't talk about that. So before we go into the UFC, we're going to talk about our partner Betmate. Now, bear with me. I will get my notes because they actually gave me some notes because they got a new feature. So for those who know, Betmate is an app where you can pick your team and you play against other people and win money. What Betmate are also doing now is they've also got the opportunity for you to build your own pot. So you can actually build your own pot, select some Premier League games, and invite people in. Everyone puts the money in, and then winner takes all. So you can do your own pots now. You can just design it as long as you sign up. But it is UK only, and like all things with betting, bet responsibly and stop when you think you've bet enough. So what we're going to do is there is a pot, which I'm just going to join now, which is Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. So you need to pick a starting 7 plus 4 subs, maximum of 6 Liverpool players or 6 Forest players. And basically, apart from 1 week, we've been absolutely shocking at this. So we're going to let Courtney and Callum pick this because, quite frankly, Kev, you, me, and Luke are rubbish at this generally. So we're going to let somebody else take over.
I won last time.
Yeah, hey, Kev.
I think you and me. I think we did win last time.
And I got close.
Yeah, close didn't win us anything though. So you've got to win us. I know. Sorry, but be happy mood today. Can you tell? So Courtney and Cal, you can have a think now. Who do you want to be starting goalkeeper? I'm assuming you're going to go Alisson.
Yeah.
I have to ask. And then the Forest goalkeeper. I generally don't know who the Forest goalkeeper is. There's 3 names here. I don't know.
Bamba, and they've got an American who's been playing recently.
Yeah, so got Samba, Smith, and Horav, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So, which one do you want to pick? Courtney, did your Forest mate tell you who was his goalkeeper?
No, he just gave me 5 random names, and I've just gone, yeah, okay, I'll say them. But,
okay, that's helpful. That's good.
I don't know who they are.
Well, I'll pick one at random because, to be honest, Alisson's starting, I'm assuming. Now, for your back 2, are you going to pick 2 Liverpool defenders, or are you going to pick 1 Forest defender and then 1 Liverpool defender?
If I'm honest, I don't know which ones are defenders or not.
I don't
even know which positions they are.
I'm going to go Spence.
I was going to say, I know Spence is highly thought of. He seems to be the one.
Spence has just made.
He's in the 5 that I've got.
He's just made the England's under 21 setup.
Oh,
so he looks a good player. Who do you want for your Liverpool defender starting? It's goals, it's interceptions, it's
Costas.
Assists. Costas.
I was going to go Costas, because he's my favourite. So I've got him.
That's fine. And who do you want as your reserve defender? I'm assuming it's a Liverpool one. Which Liverpool defender do you think will start?
Konate. Yeah.
Konate?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, who do you want as your midfielders? Starting. So with what's left now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can actually put all Liverpool starters now, and then we can just fill the bench full of Forest players, if you want to do that.
Yeah, I think we've got to do
that. Okay.
I don't know any of the Forest players apart from who's the guy with the long goatee? Is it Graben?
That's him. That's the one I was telling you about. That's the one I couldn't think of his name. He's got that.
I know Cole back, and that's it. Just because I remember him from.
Brennan Johnson. He's highly.
Yeah, he's highly thought of as well, isn't he?
Is he a midfielder or is he?
I don't know what he's down. I know he's been playing.
Did you know Cafu played for Forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, not
I don't think it's the Cafu.
Not
Can you
that
imagine?
Cafu.
That's,
Can you imagine if he's still there? That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? He's kept it quiet. He's been in the championship for the last couple of years.
So, what's your name, Cafu? What do you do for a living? Play football.
James Garner,
basically,
Marseille.
Cool. So, Courtney, you give me a midfielder and Cal could pick the other one. Who do you want for your starting midfielder?
Naby.
Naby. Okay, let's find Naby Keita.
Trying to think. I'll go Curtis Jones.
I'm going to go Jones. Okay. Cool. And then who do you want as your attackers? You can have one each. So, Courtney, you pick your first attacker.
Minamino.
Tacky. Callum is so angry. He's seething inside there.
That was the one guaranteed start. Courtney got in there like that.
Was it a cup game?
Well, just pick the guys who's been scoring miss-hit passes.
Yeah, I gotta go with my guy. I gotta go with Bobby.
Bobby, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I've actually got too many Liverpool players. All right, we'll fill the bench with Forest players then. Right. Luke, do you know any Forest defenders other than Spence?
McKenna,
that'll do. And Courtney, did your mate give you a midfielder for Forest?
He's literally not told me what position they play. He's literally just given me a list of names.
Brennan Johnson's a midfielder.
Okay. Reel the names off, Courtney. We'll see if any of these are on the list.
He said Johnson, Yates, Spence, Garner, and Worrell, or however you say it, Worrell.
Yeah, Worrell's injured, I think.
Yates and Garner are definitely on the list here, and so's Arthur. I think he used to play for Bournemouth. So
he's gone on loan to Notts County. So
there we go. Keep him out there. So your choice, Courtney. Do you want Yates or do you want Garner?
Go with Yates.
Go with Yates. Sounds good enough to me. Right. So we need to pick a captain for the starting side and a vice captain. Captain gets double points. Vice captain gets 1.5 points, like time and a half. So Courtney, you can pick the captain.
I'll go for Bobby, what Callum said.
Bobby is captain. Cal, who you have as your vice captain?
Minamino.
There we go. Right. Save that. There we go. Great. Sorted. Right, so I'm going to stay quiet for a little bit now, which everyone will be made up with. And we're going to let Callum and Luke have a bit of a UFC chat, and then we'll come back with a bit of Champions League chat at the end in a few minutes. So off you go, lads. UFC London, apparently it's quite a big thing.
Yes, it is a big thing. First time in 3 years. Obviously, before the pandemic hit, UFC London was meant to come with Leon Edwards headlining with Tyron Woodley. Unfortunately, that fell through. But this time, it's going to be Tom Aspinall versus Alexander Volkov. Hopefully, this is his coming out party to the rest of the world. First time he's fought in front of any fans whatsoever. So he's under massive pressure against a veteran who's been there, done it. I think he's got triple the amount of fights that Tom Aspinall has. So it's gonna be a massive task. But I expect him to come through with flying colours and announce himself as the next heavyweight contender.
He's only done about 11 and a half minutes in his UFC career. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. He's dispatching people at a very high rate, but he's doing it with variety as well. So he's obviously got knockouts with his hands. He's got knockouts with elbows, but he's also got submissions as well. So he's very, very well rounded. Jiu-jitsu game is fantastic, but his movement is excellent when he's standing up as well. He's very similar to Cyril Gane. I don't know if you'll agree with that, Luke, but he's very similar to Cyril Gane in terms of his movement and how quick he is for a heavyweight. But he seems to hit very hard.
Big guy as well.
Those two bumped into each other backstage, and Tom Aspinall was like, "You got any tips to beat Volkov?" So those two have already interacted backstage, because you can definitely see that lineup happening. But there are other, the big two scousers on the card, Paddy the Baddie, which I feel like he's the guy that everyone's wanting to see. He's the one that has sold out this this event. Obviously, it would have been sold out without him, but the fact it got sold out within 2 minutes because he's like third from the top, it's pretty much incredible considering this is only his second UFC fight, and he's pretty much at the top of the card, which is unheard of, pretty much. So, massive performance for him.
I think
needed.
Culturally, he comes off very well because of how he
said, "I'm not going to do any interviews with any of the Sun."
Straight away.
Yeah.
There was that, and then he talks about how he some of his bans he's had on social media, but a lot of his bans social media people, he's taking disadvantaged people to football or to things, and obviously people social media is a horrible place. People are cruel.
Yeah.
But I think you're a brave man to be cruel to a UFC fighter because he quite clearly will not back down, and he will tell you. So he's coming across really well, and he's very likable anyway. But he's coming across even more likable, which is quite.
He's coming across like a younger version of Conor McGregor, but unlike McGregor, Paddy's actually got a ground game. He's got a ground game. So when he starts talking to the other top fighters, I'm more confident that he's gonna hold his own rather than, because McGregor's literally just called out Usman today, said that I will knock him out.
He did what?
Usman just he said that I want to fight Usman next. I'll knock him out. I literally seen
it was St. Patrick's Day, wasn't it? Yesterday.
Yeah, someone texted Usman saying, what do you think?
Connor's hungover.
Connor knocking you out, and he just texted laughing emojis. So
Connor's still drunk. He's lagging from yesterday.
Yeah, Connor's still on the Paddy Day drink at his pub because that's not happening in a million years. No, but there's some other great fighters on the card. I think there's like 11 British fighters on the card, and there's some
10 now. 10, I think it's 10 because Nathaniel Wood's fight fell through.
Oh, what? I saw a thing on Instagram that Davey Grant said, I might be coming to London to fight Nathaniel Wood, and I was like, okay, yes, please.
No, they didn't find him a replacement, which is a real shame. Like, I know a couple of people who know Nathaniel Wood. He's actually a really, really cool guy. Really cool guy. Trains hard.
His debut on Fight Island, so
Plus, he was the only Londoner on this card as well.
Londoner. That's a shame because there's a couple of Welsh fighters on the card. Jack Shaw, undefeated. He lives like an hour and a half away from where I live, and he's been nicknamed the Welsh GSP. Basically, I think Bisping said that he just reminds him so much of GSP, and he's at a really odd stage because no one wants to call him out because no one sees the benefit of fighting him. There's no game plan to beat him. Like, people coming up don't want to fight him because he's not ranked, and ranked fighters coming off a loss don't want to fight him because they don't gain anything from beating him. But he should be ranked after this fight. He should be ranked number 15, and that should be. Then he should start calling people out to fight Dominic Cruz, Frankie Edgar, and so on. So massive opportunity for him.
Kirilov and Paul Craig. How do you guys see that? Because that's on the prelim card.
I think I'm shocked. I'm shocked it's on the prelims, but I think they did that to get people engaged in the prelims because this is a fight that it could be a fight of the night. To be honest, Paul Craig, if I'm not mistaken, Paul Craig has had no decisions. Every fight he's had has always been a finish in some way, shape, or form.
He's had one draw. That was against Shogun in Brazil.
Is that
which?
Oh yes,
it wasn't
sorry,
in Brazil.
The most recent fight, and he should have won that fight. If we're going to be honest, he should have won that fight. This, I think, is going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a tough fight for Paul Craig, but if he wins it, then he's back in the title mix or back in the contender mix to get a title shot in the next couple of fights. So it'll be interesting.
I listened to his interview today. He reckons a win today gets him into top 5.
I don't know, to be honest, because he said that he wanted to retire at the end of the year. I think me and Callum did the preview on Let's Talk Sport, and I think you said that wouldn't surprise you if he said, I'm done. I'm done.
If he, I think he'd have to
5-fight unbeaten streak.
Yeah, he'd have to win this and win another by the end of the year for him to stay beyond the year. I think if he loses this one, I think he calls it a day.
Yeah, because the light heavyweight division, as I nicknamed it, the hot potato division, because I can't see anyone holding that belt long enough. He's got a couple.
He came off his interview today, and it was definitely, I didn't get the impression of him packing it in. I think he's more looking at a possibility of a second UFC event in the UK where he would be further up the card, and maybe something in Scotland or later on in the year up north. Fight of the night, guys. Which way do you see it going?
Paul Craig
By submission, because he's got a couple of wins over Ankalaev, who's literally just fought the other week. I think Ankalaev's on like an 8-fight win streak after getting submitted in literally the last second in a fight that he was pretty much dominated throughout. I'm even surprised, like watching that fight back, that he even tapped with a second left to go. And plus he pretty much ripped Jamal Hill's arm out of his socket.
I was going to say,
as well.
I'm getting trolled in the chat here.
And
I've not said anything. Is that quiet?
Yes.
For those of you guys looking for a deep dive into tonight's card, you guys doing a show after this?
No, we did one yesterday.
You did one yesterday. So
I did the preview yesterday.
On which channel was that on?
Let's Talk Sport. Yeah, so that's on there.
So
last night.
For a deep dive into the whole card from the guys, it's on Luke's channel. Go and check it out. And tomorrow night, Callum, anything planned for tomorrow night?
Not sure. Hopefully going to try and do a watch along and then do a post fight show as well.
Yeah.
But, can I just say, Chris, the face you have is the face I have when you guys talk about F1.
I knew that was coming.
Mate, F1, I get me pillow when I go to sleep. I let Kev talk about it. It's just cars going round. It's not sport. It goes round and round and round. It's
But the season starts tomorrow. Or the season started today with the first round of practice in Bahrain. And the first race is on Sunday in Bahrain. I think it's 6 p.m. It's going to be a night race. And the way the F1 season is looking this year, McLaren are going to struggle. Hamilton is going to... Mercedes is going to struggle, sorry. Hamilton is definitely way off the pace. Whatever they've done to that car, the suspension isn't right. It's bouncing along the road. It's not driving along the road. The aerodynamics looks different to every other car. It's weird. And the way they've got the cars designed this year, everything has changed. It's all changed for the last 3 years. And to streamline and save money, the engines that they start this season with are the engines they're going to have for the next 3 years. The design of the engine is going to be the same for the next 3 years. So the only thing they can change and fiddle with really are the aerodynamics. It's going to be a fascinating season, but
they've pretty much screwed Hamilton from ever winning that last one ever again. They've gone, you got close, but not winning that again. Not while we're still in charge or not.
Yeah, Hamilton has definitely been put in his place, so to speak, because the inquiry into the last race of last season is the way it's been handled. It's supposed to be public. And the FIA, and surprisingly enough, well, not surprisingly, Max Verstappen doesn't want it revealed in public. So we'll see how that one plays out. Because I've got a funny feeling that Hamilton will up sticks and walk away from the sport.
Just to be clear, I don't mind UFC chat. I just keep quiet because I don't know enough about it. The other stuff, golf and F1,
No, sorry, I got to stop you. Don't play innocent. Chris has been trolling me since January because he got a prediction right and I got one wrong.
No.
Chris,
no.
Let's
get this clear. Callum, you are the UFC expert out of the two of us. I got every match right on the main card, and I only saw it 5 minutes beforehand, and I went, I don't know what you talk about. And I also
picked them like you picked Grand National Law.
Yeah, just went ding, 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 ding. All right, dead easy. I mean, I'm not being funny, mate. It was Ugana. I mean, the fact you even decided not to pick him, I'm surprised he didn't come to your house. You won't go against him.
He's getting his knees reconstructed, so I think I'll be safe for a while.
I know he won with no knees. That's just ridiculous. That's just
crazy.
It's just scary, man. I'm still scared now, and he's got no knees. I'm still scared of him, to be fair. Right, Courtney, enough of this UFC chat. Let's talk about Champions League, because that happened today, and that was really good. So, what's your opinions of Champions League draw?
I think that draw couldn't have gone any better for us. I think maybe if we get through to the semis, it's the second leg. That's probably the only bad thing about it. But Benfica, I think, was the easiest game out of a lot of them that we could have got. And then you look, if we do get to the final, and I was sat there and I was thinking, please be the home dressing room, it was again, and it looks like if we do get there, we have got it. But yeah, I think the draw couldn't have gone any better for us. I just think I was sat there and you going, I want this team, you got that team, I want it at like the second leg at home, you got it. I think we were all the happiest we'd been with a draw for a while.
Cool. Kev, the only thing that could make it even more perfect is if Bayern do the good job of losing to Villarreal and Benfica let us win. That would be quite nice.
You never know. You never know.
The thing is with Villarreal, right? They're one of those sides in Europe that, for all the mocking that he got when he was at Arsenal, his name escapes me.
Unai
Emery. Yeah, he's got them defensively sound. Yeah. And in knockout football, that's all you need to be. Defensively sound with a goal threat. And they have that. And in Parejo, they have a proper quality footballer in the middle of the park. Loves the ball at his feet. And he's just a quality footballer. Will they knock Bayern out? No. But of the two that you would have handpicked, Benfica with Otamendi and Vertonghen at the back.
They've got Adal Tarat holding a midfield. That says all you need to know.
But if over two legs you can't get at those two centre backs, then you deserve to go out. You really do. Nunes is a good striker. He's being hyped up as the next Suarez, and Uruguay are pinning all their hopes on this kid. And apparently we're looking at him, looking really strongly at him. We know the Klopp likes the Portuguese league. We know that Pep Linders loves the league and is relentless in their scouting of the league for talent. Because let's be honest, Portugal, the amount of players who end up in Portugal that end up in Spain, that end up being really top quality players is really high. And why should the Spanish clubs get to pick all the talent when we could really get some proper players at decent prices, as we've shown with Diaz? The other side of the draw is
full.
It's a minefield. It's an absolute minefield.
Pep's not sleeping. He's not sleeping.
No.
He's not.
His big bald head is going to have some real issues.
Yeah, Cal's going into depression mode in a minute.
I love it. I'll be honest with you. This might come back to bite me, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'd rather Bayern Munich go through than Villarreal, and we play Bayern Munich in the semis. I think Bayern suit us better than Villarreal do. Yeah. Bayern will try and fight fire with fire, and I think we beat Bayern. I think we beat them again. I think we get through against Villarreal, but I think it looks very ugly. I think we put on our best performance against the Bayern Munich because they play highline football as well. Like
it's going to be a back.
But they've also got a centre back who everyone hyped up, who basically, when the ball's near him, looks like a hand grenade.
Exactly. I mentioned the fact that Canate was better, and he was like, based on what? And I was like, based on the fact that.
I think, to give him his credit on our channel, Keith Plunkett, I've been shouting about Canate for quite a while, more than Meccano, and he saw the benefits of both. But to be fair to him, he did shout that was quite good.
It was Kev who put me on to Canate, because I was saying I like Meccano, and Kev was like, no, Canate is the better one. I didn't even know much about him until Kev told me.
Meccano's looked shaky this season at Bayern Munich. He's not looked great at all.
He's been asked to do things that he's not necessarily very good at.
Pass the ball.
When he was at Leipzig, he had Klosterman bailing him out on one side, and he had Canate on the other side. He was in a back three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They played a back three for a reason. And the reason was, he's very good when the ball is in front of him. Just don't ask him to turn, because he turns like the Titanic. And when you've got Nicolas Sula next to you, who's as big and as useless as he is.
Plus you've got Luca Hernandez
you know?
as well, who's just as bad.
The only thing that they do have is Alphonso Davies is on their way back. Apparently he's back training and he'll be back available for their run-in. He hasn't hit the heights of the last few years, but he's still a very good player. And on the other side, Pavard is a quality fullback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I agree with Callum 100%. Bayern will try to outscore you, and with our back line, Fabinho and Alisson, I trust us to be able to outscore them and keep the score down. But even you look back last season, the night they went out to PSG, Bayern battered PSG from pillar to post. It was almost a case of phone the police and make it stop. They were, and that was a Bayern side that were so weakened. They were really, really good
up front.
Yeah, and they absolutely ripped PSG to shreds. This season they're not as good, but there's the best thing that can happen to Bayern is Dortmund pushing them in the league. If Dortmund are pushing them in the league, that keeps Bayern alive and active in Europe as well. But they'll go through, and I fancy us to get to the final now. I really do. That draw has just been fantastic for us. So the other side of the draw.
Yeah. Courtney, so the fact we're sandwiched between two games against Atletico Madrid now, that puts a different pressure on City, because City lately, especially when they get quarter semi-finals, can play Scott Carsons, can play, some of their fringe players. You can't, although Atleti aren't the team they used to be, you can't be playing fringe players against Atleti. So, yes, it's nice to get the home draw first, but that doesn't go as well as you want, or it's tight. It's going to have a knock-on effect, which is why I was quite pleased we got, on paper, the kind of draw.
Yeah, I think for me, Pep's just going to focus more on the Champions League games. I don't think it's necessarily going to make much of a difference when they play against us, but I think if Pep had to choose between the two Atletico games and us, he's going to focus more on the Champions League, because at the end of the day, it's the only thing he's not won yet with them.
Yeah, totally agree.
So that could hopefully play in our hands.
Yeah, and Chelsea, assuming they actually have enough money to get a flight over to Madrid, aren't going to like Madrid either, because they've shown they're a bit more resilient, got a bit more youth in the side now as well, it's a bit of excitement, and people have finally woken up to the fact, especially Michael Richards, he's finally realised in the last 6 months that Benzema's a really, really good footballer. Who knew?
I'll be honest, Kev. I don't have Real Madrid.
I'm Chris again, mate, but keep going.
Sorry, Kev put his hand up that time. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on tonight. Oh jeez. Chris.
Start changing your name soon.
Chris,
yes,
You're supposed to be the professional.
I know. The childish ones, mate.
I actually don't give Real Madrid a chance in this one. I actually think Chelsea will have way too much for them, and I think they'll go through comfortably in this tie. I honestly do.
Completely.
I think Real Madrid are a season or two away from really, really going at Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Bayern Munich.
Bayern, yeah.
I don't think they'll do it this time round. I don't see how they break Chelsea down from a defensive standpoint. Let's be honest, PSG had just a massive collapse. I don't see that happening to Chelsea. I don't even see Chelsea conceding those type of chances. And I think Real Madrid, I think you could also see in terms of Modric is fantastic, Casemiro's fantastic. I just don't know if they'll compete well against your likes of your Kantes and Kovacic, etc. I see Real Madrid getting handily beaten.
Oh, Kev, give your counter because you're fancying a Madrid derby, aren't you, for the semis?
Yeah, I can see both Madrid sides going through. I think Atletico Madrid are the absolute toxic side that Guardiola hates. Compact, sits deep, loves to defend, takes pride in defending. and are accurate in the counter. And with the likes of João Felix up front, with pace, and Griezmann has that ability to be in the right space to play final balls, they could really hurt City on the counter. Over two legs, City will get chances, but they're not banging goals like they have been like in recent seasons. They're winning games 1 and 2-0, and limiting sides to chances. And I can see Pep having his usual brain fart over trying to reinvent the game again. And Atletico, I can see doing a number on him. Chelsea, no fans in the ground. They're another one. They will give Madrid the ball. They will let Madrid have the ball. They're not going to dominate the ball. They're quite happy to do what they did in the last round and let sides have the ball and hit them on the break with Havertz and Pulisic and work that way. And that's okay. But you look at what Vinicius Jr. and Benzema put up this season. Between the two of them, they've combined 70 goal contributions between the two of them.
It's crazy.
I think Vinicius Jr. has come of age. I think his pace down that wing will give Chelsea a real problem. I don't think Reece James will be back. Don't think he'll be available. So you're looking at Azpilicueta, maybe not available. But
I'm not too sure because Reece James is in that England squad, so he must be close.
I don't know if he is or isn't, but they need him.
The midfield
is the key. You're on about Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic. Valverde, Kroos, and Modric.
Camavinga as well.
Off the bench, you still have the option of Casemiro if you need someone to break up play. Casemiro is still keeping Fabinho out of the Brazil side, purely and simply on his shithousery. And his ability to protect the back four is up there. Because in England we don't watch those players week in, week out. We don't realize how good they are. Casemiro is a top tier holding centre mid. He doesn't have the distribution of a Fabinho and the aggressiveness of a Fabinho to challenge in their third. But if you ask him to do a job in front of a back four, he'll do it. You've got David Alaba. It's been a great addition for Real Madrid. And their weakest link is Militao. He's rash. And if you're rash against Chelsea and come out of position, you can get punished. But I honestly don't see Chelsea creating too much. I think Real Madrid over two legs will have enough. Benzema is in the form of his life. Their only weakness, I suppose, if you're looking at Asensio on the right, maybe Rodrigo if he comes in, but
still got Bale.
No, you don't.
You really imagine if Hazard scores the winner to knock him out.
They still got Marcelo. They still got Marcelo on the wage bill as well. You know what I mean?
Do you know what, Luke? That would be glorious. Can you imagine that?
A Courtois assist to Eden Hazard, knock him out.
Goes in off his arse.
Yes.
Goes in off his arse and he pulls his hamstring after he scored it. That's him done. No.
As well.
Let's see if they clap him then. Oh, sorry, they can't clap and they won't be there because they're not allowed to travel. Damn it. That's a pain. I do think that's going to be a big factor as well.
I think that's crazy that's happened or been allowed to happen.
It couldn't happen to a nicer club.
Well, them's the breaks, aren't we? Right, Courtney, you can have... MC asked us a while ago, so I've kept this. We may as well talk about it. People say don't talk about it, but look, you have to talk about it because we're the only side that still can do it. Can it happen? Do you think it'll happen? No one will hold it against you.
I've got the belief it can happen. Whether I think it'll happen is another thing. I've said within my family and that I've been saying since the beginning of the season, something just felt special about it. I don't know if that was just because the fans were returning and everything, and that just sort of went in my head. But after the final the other week, I just came out of it and I was like, where I was in a pub by Anfield and it was celebrated in a different way to what we'd usually celebrate within that sort of cup. And it was like, it feels a bit weird, but it felt special. And it was like, is this the start of us going on a run of winning a few trophies this season? hopefully it's the quadruple, but I definitely think we've got another trophy in us.
Good, okay. Luke, how are you? Same question to you.
Until it's impossible, it's still possible.
I'll get off those splinters. Come on.
No, I think we'll do it. I think the momentum's
That's it.
in our favour. And I have a United fan in a WhatsApp group, and I asked which is worse, City treble or Liverpool quad, and he was like neither. And I was like, well, you're getting a Liverpool quad this year, and then you can stop talking about 99 because nothing's going to get better than Liverpool 2022. So he is saying everything he can to say no, Liverpool aren't that great, but he knows it's coming. He knows.
Kev, where are you?
Let's put it this way. After this season, it will be impossible to do because of the expansion of the Champions League, the expansion of international football, the expansion of the FIFA Club World Cup. No side is going to get this close again. That's just a fact. And I think the only way that we have a real problem is touch wood. We get through Forest, the timing of the FA Cup semi-finals. Because I think the FA Cup semi-final, we should be playing Villa. That game has to be rearranged. And then you're looking at sandwiching big fixtures where we're going to have to win them all. I think it's possible, but if we don't do it this year, I don't think anyone ever gets close again. Because from next season on, you're going to see real different focus on cup competitions, especially domestic cups. And it's not going to be from a want of winning them. It's just literally going to be a case of we just physically can't do this anymore. I listened to Klopp's press conference when he was talking about the players' rest. And you look at, I think Scotland have arranged a ridiculous amount of friendlies
this summer.
You know, England have scheduled 4.
Well, I hope Trent decides he wants to pick up another injury to miss all of them.
It's bonkers. It really is. This summer was the only opportunity to give players a proper rest before a ridiculous season next year that's going to double into another season after that. And unless the Premier League come to their senses and introduce a 5-sub rule, players are going to drop like flies. And God knows what will happen.
And the other thing to take in mind is if you get to an FA Cup semi-final, it's I think it's the second. There's the weekend before the season ends, so you're then going to have. Well, if it's City, it's West Ham away. If it's us, it's Southampton away. They're going to get rearranged, which is probably going to be 5 days late, 2 or 3 days later. So it is a challenge. I mean, look, United did a treble in '99, and they had similar issues. So this is not a new thing, but Cal, I suppose that's why you have a deep squad. You know, prior to the summer, there's a lot of poo-pooing of this squad. Some of this is coming back to roost for a few people that maybe the squad wasn't quite as bad as we thought.
Yeah, I'm one of those who's got to eat a little bit of humble pie as well. We keep on speaking about 4 trophies, though, guys. It's not 7. 7 trophies.
Well, you can't win those
after we win these 4. We've got the Community Shield. We've got the Club World Cup, the Super Cup. I want 7. As I said, I want 4
6
buses on the bus trophy. 1 to hold all the trophies, 1 for us fans, and the rest for players.
Okay,
we've got to come away with some stuff this summer.
Yeah, well, for me, if that's to happen, it's 6 trophies because to me, the Charity Shield is not a trophy.
I want everything.
All the belts.
It's a glorified.
All the belts.
It's a glorified.
All the belts.
So, Cal, yay or nay? Are they going to do it?
I'm going to say yes.
Oh, that look at hurt.
No. I just look. What's the worst that can happen? We don't win it, and people come back and say, "Oh, you won it. You won it. You said you
we only won 3."
Yeah.
Damn. Oh dear. What a pity. Never mind.
We won a domestic treble. Oh wow.
Out the three remaining competitions, I still think the league is probably the hardest of the 3 to win. Yes. I'm not saying we won't, but I would say that's probably the hardest of the 3 to win.
I do feel like
Fantasy in Europe over 2 legs
might have helped with.
That's what I'm hoping. We were hoping that was going to be me and Cal have talked as proudly saying. we were hoping that was going to fall
sweating.
perfectly for us.
It's going to be sweating.
So,
Pep.
good. That's a horrible image to have in my head. Thanks for that. So, before we go, Courtney, thank you very much for coming on the show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Where can people find you? Find your content?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or everything's Courtney_Navy. So just give it a search and you should hopefully find me.
Cool. And you do some match day vlogs as well, don't you?
Yeah, basically every home match day I'm there. Touch wood. I know there's a few big games that I might miss, but as long as I can get a ticket, I'll be there. So you'll see a vlog from that. And if I can't be there, sometimes I do the atmosphere around the ground before the match.
Awesome. Cool. And Callum, I mean, you're everywhere these days. Sanderson Show, Coppish, you come here as well, you know, and you wind up other YouTube as well, which I've seen you do quite well.
Yeah. Just Callum Sanderson, as you said, Chris. You'll find me everywhere. So yeah, love this stuff. Love being on there. So thanks for having me again, guys.
Kev, sure. Next time we have Callum on the show, I'll wear the t-shirt saying I'm Chris. You have one saying I'm Kev.
We literally have name tags on our pictures.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not working yet. I might put like a banner behind me going, not Kev. To help them out. Bless. And Luke, you're just part of the furniture now, mate. You're just a regular on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously you still got your Let's Talk Football. So before we go, Kev, any extra bits for you?
No. I still don't know what's going on Sunday. Whether we're going to do post-match or just straight into the Fatback 4, but just keep your notifications on. Obviously, Féileacáin is our charity that we're doing everything we can to try to get to 10K. The link is in the description for the donate page. If you can donate, please donate. If you can't donate, please share it among your social media platforms and get the word out there. It's a fantastic charity that helps people with recently bereaved, either at birth or just after birth. And if you haven't been through it personally, you will know someone who has been. And those people, to have that outlet, to be able to pick up a phone and talk to someone who can help them, even with the basic things, what they can do, what they can't do, and all that kind of stuff. They'll have 1,000,001 questions or just want someone on the end of the phone to listen. You know, they do all of this work. And if we can put any money their way, it's an absolute privilege to be able to come on a website and be able to plug a charity like that. All the information is there in the description. It's on all of our socials. It's our pin tweet. It's just there. Please share it around on yours. We really appreciate it if you could.
Awesome. And in terms of any other business from me, to stay on brand, Liverpool women are playing on Sunday. So we've got Charlton at home, who we beat 1-0 the previous weekend, which was the most stressful game of football I've ever watched in my life. I still have not been forgiven for shouting and screaming and swearing in my house, so hence why I'm in the doghouse still. But never mind. You won't believe it, honest God. This is what women's football's done to me. I'll give you a hint. There's a person behind there who we're going to talk about in a minute. Scored the winning goal against Watford. I nearly put my shoulder out celebrating. I was that excited that we scored the winner. I did a Lampard, yeah. More than you could believe. It was unbelievable. So keep an eye out that, but keep your notification on. Keep an eye out for 10 o'clock tomorrow. If you can't see the shirt behind me, that is Katie Stengel, who is our new American striker, joined in January. I had the pleasure this afternoon, of interviewing her. So that will be out 10 o'clock tomorrow. So gives a bit of a chat about, she's played in America, Germany, Australia, Norway. So she gives you a bit of a feel of what it's like. Go through the college system, avoiding the drafts that they do in America, which is quite different. And then just what it's like living in Liverpool, the joys of Primark and Home and Bargain and BMN. She loves all them. And the disgust that is mushy peas. It was a very different chat, but it was really good fun. It was good value. But until then, Luke, thanks again for coming on. Cal, as always, mate, thanks for coming on. We always have good fun. Courtney, thanks for coming on. Hopefully we'll get you on again soon because hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Kev, we're probably on a show like tomorrow or something because people are just getting us all the time now.
No, we're not coming on the show tomorrow, mate. Tomorrow is booked. My sofa space is booked. I have the remote control. I ain't giving it up for no one. I'm sorted, mate. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. But I'll be back on Sunday, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Be
He
around
says
on
that.
Sunday.
He says that,
Yeah,
trust
he
me.
says that.
If you ask him nicely, he'll jump
Yeah,
on.
folk, I'll get a text tomorrow morning. Kev, can you do X, Y, Z? He'll be like, yeah, all right. Got nothing else.
Right, until then, guys, you'll see everyone back on Sunday for Fatback 4, which will be hopefully talking about Liverpool being in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Until then, take care.